don't have any napkin or anything.
And America did the same thing as England did, that Henry VIII did, is when they acquired all this extra land, they had it surveyed so they could sell it, so they could build up their treasury. And our federal treasury came up high and...
Still going high.
Hey, and we're still going high. Yeah, that's a township. Now, that's what they intended to sell to people initially. Now, the people just didn't have, people who were immigrating here just didn't have quite enough money for 640 acres. That's a lot. And so they said, well, we'll break it down and we'll sell it in quarter sections. Now you're going down to 160 acres. Well, they found there wasn't enough people out there that could afford or even take care of 160 acres. So they said, well, let's sell it in blocks of a quarter acre or a quarter section of a quarter section. That's 40 acres. That's where 40 acres came in. So the smallest amount the federal government would give away in a block or sell was 40 acres.
40 acres and a mule.
And a mule. Yeah. Now, so what we did, now I'm a surveyor. Have you been down to Sacramento? You know Sacramento? The first surveyor that made a plan of all the streets of Sacramento was a surveyor called C.W. Coote. Not Clarence, but yeah, Clarence W. Coote. And that's who I play. And so last year, in 1851, I was down in Sacramento laying out the whole downtown area and making a map of it. And so that's the kind of work that surveyors. And he's the guy that tells you where the fence goes.
So that you can't go. So you don't go on anybody else's
property. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Now, one more thing. This won't make any sense to you now, but pound it into his head. That's why you take trigonometry, geometry, and algebra, because those are the three tools that I use here, and why people will pay me a lot of money to do the job. But that's a reason to learn algebra and a reason to learn geometry and trigonometry. Now, I failed in junior high school in 8th grade. I failed algebra, and actually then from then on my counselor wanted me to be a cabinet maker like my dad. Or actually, he really pushed me to get into sheet metal. I wanted to work on radios. I thought working on radios would be the greatest thing in the world. This is an advanced or more sophisticated model of what I've shown before, which over here, which is the transit. That is a type of transit. This is a transit that is advanced. They call it a theodolite. And like I said, it's a more sophisticated and more accurate variation. It has a telescope on it, and it's able to it has little magnifying glasses in here to accurately read the direction that you're pointing the instrument. Also in this one, the telescope moves up and down, and it has readings on here again with little magnifiers to read exactly the angle in degrees that you're pointing up. So if I have a hill over in advance of me or ahead of me that I want to know how high it is, and I can tilt this and look at it, and I make the readings, and then with math I can go back and calculate how tall that hill is without having to go there. So again, this model is design of about 1850, and it is also the it would probably at the time be imported from England. Although by 1850 we had a number of very competent instrument makers in the United States already.